Hello, 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 hello. Test, test, test. Looks like the audio is good. How's everybody doing? I need to go and mute my streams every time. You would think that I think I've been doing streams and video content on and off for the last 3 years, and you would think that at some point I would know to mute my damn streams before I do it, but I think I'm like 0 for 459. So that's where I'm at. Also, noise disclaimer: if you can hear an ambient noise, it's because I have a space heater glued to my feet because it's cold here and I hate being cold. Also, my dog decided that she wants to eat an entire bowl of food, and it's right next to my feet as well. So space heater and dog munching. If you can hear it, I apologize in advance. We'll give some people some time to get in. Oh, there's already a good number of people. Nice. There's already like 50-something people here. Missed the squeaky chair? Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I had to upgrade. No squeaks allowed. It's a no squeak zone. Wait, so before I get started, I'm actually curious about this rural women Bitcoin group. Were you joking or were you being serious? Like you just have a group of women farmers who also love crypto. Rural women over 50 that are into crypto. That has to be the smallest demographic in crypto. That's cool. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. At least you found some people that you can like relate to. Most people in crypto are kind of neckbeardy and awkward, myself included. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Is anyone watching this for the first time? I'm starting to notice that people are starting to pick back up, like the interest in crypto is starting to pick back up. So I'm curious if anyone's watching the stream for the first time. Get out of here. Because I'll give a little intro as to how I format my streams. Oh, you guys are coastal transplants. Oh, okay. So yeah, what are you? You're Silicon Valley people that are like, oh, we all of a sudden moved to Missouri, so we're rural now. I don't think that doesn't count. Listen, if you weren't born on the farm, you can't claim to be a resident of the farm. Okay, I don't make the rules. Oh, Miami Gulf Coast. Whatever. Okay, that's cool. So at least one or two people are new. So usually the way I format my streams is I typically have like a general direction of things where I'll start at a very high level and I'll get more and more specific as the stream goes on. So it's more of like, it's more of like a lecture of sorts. Not like I'm lecturing you, but like an academic lecture where I have a very continuous stream of thought. And then once we get to the more specific stuff, like specific coins, for example, I'll start taking requests. So the way that I view the market specifically is I look, first of all, I look to see where my bias lies, and my bias will inform my trading decisions. Before I define my bias, I have to have a set of standards, and my personal set of standards right now starts with the dollar. So the dollar, I'm very bearish on the dollar. I've been talking about this for quite a few weeks, and it looks like it's playing out quite nicely. But the short story is that if the dollar goes down, everything denominated in the dollar, whether it's stocks, housing, bonds, crypto, everything with the denominator of USD. If USD goes down, the relative value to USD goes up. So I'm specifically interested in how the dollar is going to perform on a macro scale. If the dollar is bullish on a macro scale, that is not necessarily a bullish condition for crypto. but a bearish dollar is further supporting evidence of a macro bullish environment for crypto. So when we look at DXY, which is the dollar index, this is just a relative weighting of the dollar to other world currencies. And this is what the macro trend is showing for the dollar index. These are monthly candles, keep in mind, and this is dating back all the way to 1986. Well, 1985, I guess. But you can see it's in a very well-defined downward trending channel. And right around the time COVID hit was right here. And we can see that it had this fake breakout to the upside, which led to a rejection to the downside. It had a very clear retest of this range here. But something that gives us very strong supporting evidence for a continuation to the downside are the Bollinger Bands. And we can see that they were very constricted leading into this breakdown. And we see a very clear and clean expansion of the Bollinger Bands as DXY starts to begin its leg to the downside. I saw something today, yesterday. I forget who it was. I think it was like Goldman Sachs or someone. They're now calling for a 20% decline in the dollar. And this is something I've been saying for quite a bit now, is that I think the dollar could really, really go down. And when I say go down, I don't mean like, a temporary recession. I mean like something like this, where it's a multi-year downtrend. And something like this is going to paint the perfect environment for crypto to flourish. It's good fundamentally. It's good technically. Yeah, it's just, if you're a crypto bull, this is what you want to see. Okay. So when we look at the smaller time frame, this is relative, by the way, smaller time frame being the daily, we see a very clear downtrend defined by the Ichimoku cloud and the 50 and the 200 EMA. And we can see that it's slamming this support here for like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th time, I guess, however you want to look at this. Either way, it's hit support a ton of times, and it's looking like Biden's going to be in office. And if Biden gets in office, he's going to push for more stimulus, a stronger round of stimulus than would have happened under Trump. And stronger stimulus means stronger devaluation of the dollar, which means a likely continuation to the downside. So with that in mind, we've already defined a very strong bearish macro and smaller macro condition for the dollar. With that in mind, we can move over to crypto and look at that through the lens of, well, so what does that mean if the dollar is weakening? That means that there is not enough demand for it and there is an overabundance of supply. And what happens when supply is saturating the market is people sell it. But the inverse of selling the dollar is just buying shit, right? So buying stocks, buying crypto. And when we look at crypto, we can see a very clear uptick in demand that correlates with a strong downtrend in the dollar. So when we look at, well, where is the capital where's the dollar going? Where is that supply going? We see a very clear path into crypto, and I'll explain that in a minute. Before I go any further, do you guys have any questions about the general premise behind my dollar theory? Any questions so far? Yes? No? Maybe? Move on? Okay. Move on it is then. All right, so similar to the dollar index, where we can kind of look at like a high level overview of the trend of things, we can look at crypto the same way. So we can look at the total market cap, which is, I've got a couple of notes that have just kind of been chilling here for quite some time, but total market cap is literally what it sounds like. It is the market cap of all crypto, Bitcoin, and all alts combined to make a total, literally and figuratively, a total trend. This is important for the way that I trade because I don't like to trade low time frames. I mean, there are people that are very profitable with scalping low time frame moves, but the more I've put time and effort into reading and trading crypto markets, the more I realize I just don't give a shit enough, to be honest with you. It stresses me out. So I would much rather trade higher time frame things with high degree of confidence than be sitting there chasing my tail on these like low time frame trades. That's not to say it can't be profitable, but in my experience, and the experience that I've seen through other traders, which I have a lot of, I have a fairly unique insight into how people operate. Just because I have a trading group, and over the last 3 years, I've been seeing the way people chase their tails, they stress out, they FOMO, they buy the top, they sell the bottom, this kind of shit. A lot of that happens because you're not looking at the high time frame bias and what that means in the grand scheme of things, and so you kind of you overthink very relatively simple situations. For example, right now with the total market cap, we see a very clear uptrend, and these are weekly candles, by the way. We see a very clearly well-defined uptrend that is respecting these support and resistance levels. Even on this pullback, we saw a very clean retest here. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, so total isn't really a tradable asset. So why does it respect support and resistance levels? Well, this is a theory that I've had for a couple years now, and that is I personally look at crypto to be one asset. When crypto, quote unquote crypto, is trending upward, that means that capital is entering into the market. And conversely, when it's trending downward, capital is leaving the market. So our job, first and foremost, should be to define the condition of the market. Are people risking on or are they risking off? Are they buying or are they selling? And if we can determine whether the crypto market cap as a whole is trending upward, we can then dig a little deeper to see, well, is it going into Bitcoin? Is it going into high cap alts, low cap alts, et cetera? So we can get more and more specific as we get more and more confidence in our bias. So right now we've already defined that the dollar is weakening, which is bullish for crypto. You have a strong uptrend on the total market cap. So now we have to say, well, is this primarily Bitcoin led? What are alts looking like? And so on and so forth. But again, the criteria is if this is trending upward, that means it is our job to see, well, where is the capital going? Crypto as a whole is going up. Where specifically is it going, and how can we maximize that sort of insight? Spoiler alert, the last few weeks have all been Bitcoin, but I wasn't just clickbaiting you guys with the title of this stream. I think we're going to see some major capital rotation over to alts. And we can see it right at this really well-defined resistance level, which makes sense. Okay, so total market cap, again, is crypto, or is Bitcoin plus alts. So now let's go ahead and look at the altcoin market cap, which is just total too, to get some further insight. And we can see very clearly the gain in market cap was primarily in Bitcoin, because we see that altcoin market cap didn't really do, and it trended upward a little bit, but the major gainage wasn't really, is gainage a word? Gainage is a word. I'm making it a word. You can see that the major gains in the crypto space didn't really happen in the altcoins, but it's teasing a breakout, and there's a very big gap right in here that is likely to be filled if we can start trending upward. And that gap is no small figure. The gap between here and the next resistance level is 30%, give or take a few percentage. And again, you might be tempted to say, well, 30%, shit, Bitcoin did that in a couple months. This is the total altcoin market cap. That doesn't mean that alts across the board are going to go up 30%. That means the total interest in the altcoin space is not only a risk on environment, meaning capital's entering into the altcoin market, but it also has further upside. And, you're going to see asymmetric gains between different coins. So, maybe you'll see Bitcoin Cash go up a little bit. Maybe you'll see Litecoin going up a shitload. You'll see XRP going up a shitload. You'll see some coins going down. But in aggregate, this will lead to a 30% increase in total market cap for the for the altcoins. Okay, so before I get into the actual coin trends, does all of that stuff kind of make sense? Because that's the way I view the market. That's the way I've always kind of preached the market. And in my trading group, that's the way that I form my bias. All right, so a couple of questions from YouTube. We used to trade lower time frames, but once our stack grew, we began to feel the same. Yeah, exactly. It's just you'll go crazy chasing these smaller time frame trades. I sold half my Bitcoin for altcoins for bigger gains, then put back into Bitcoin. Good idea, big risk. That's a really general statement or a general question. I can't really answer that just flat and across the board. Which alts are you looking most at? Yeah, so I'll get more specific into that once I go through the Bitcoin section. What tool are you? So this is from Twitch. Someone asks what tool am I using? I'm assuming you mean like this whole like screen. Is that what you're asking? Yeah, so this is it's called TradingView. They're currently like kind of one of my sponsors at the moment, but I would use them regardless. They're like the industry standard for charting crypto. You just go to tradingview.com, and yeah, you can have access to all the crypto charts. You just type in the ticker. So like say for example, you can even chart stocks if you want to just be like, oh, what is S&P 500 doing? You know, you just type in the ticker and it'll show you. So from Twitch, all coins trend to zero on a long enough time scale. Ignore this stuff and hold Bitcoin. Well, that's just simply not true at all. I mean, have you looked at an Ethereum chart? No worries if not, but would you take a request for a shitcoin to chart? Yeah. So I'll be taking requests after I get through Bitcoin, and I have a few coins that. So typically the way I do this stream is I'll go through the dollar, I'll go through the market caps, I'll go through Bitcoin. I'll have a pre-planned short list of alts that I'm immediately interested in, and then I'll just kind of take requests and give my on-the-fly analysis of what I see. Another question from YouTube. Let's say dollar drops 20%. Why would crypto go up more than the equivalent amount? Because you're assuming that, well, first of all, the amount of dollars dwarfs, it just absolutely dwarfs the market cap of crypto. I mean, this is like Tinker Toys and industrial engineering here. I mean, to put things into perspective, the total market cap of crypto is like a fraction of a percent of Apple's market cap. I mean, I forget what it is right now. Apple market cap. Yeah, Apple market cap is it's $2 trillion. Total market cap is what? 490 billion. So it's, these are different leagues we're talking about. And that is Apple stock, one ticker. So I think people forget just how small crypto really is. Another one from YouTube. Man, we got a lot of people watching today. This is good. Another question from YouTube. Can you take a look at Ether BTC ratio with the BTC / alt context? Yes, I will do that. If the value of the dollar drops, it makes people less likely to cash out to fiat. Win-win. Yeah, no, exactly. So as the dollar devalues, people are looking for safe havens to retain wealth. And if your dollar, people just aren't going to sit in cash and watch their dollar decline in value. You know what I mean? I mean, some people will, but Okay, so let's go to Bitcoin, unless anyone has anything else about that. Dude, I updated, look at this. So I updated my Chrome browser, and all of a sudden all my charts have like chicken pox on them. Like, what the fuck is this? It's like every time I've accidentally clicked on the chart, and it's just all of a sudden now rendering. It's really irritating. So yeah, if you see speckles on the chart, it's not your monitor. TradingView or Chrome or someone, or maybe it was me, decided they wanted to like give the chart chickenpox. Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. There's honestly not a whole lot of insightful information to reveal about Bitcoin. It's been going up, unless you haven't heard the news. And the most important thing about it, I guess I'll go back to my other chart. The most important thing about it is we are pushing monthly highs, not in an absolute value context, but the close. We still have half the month away. Clearly, like, don't be that guy that's like, well, technically the candle hasn't closed yet. But unless this candle completely retraces, I think it's fair to say we're most likely going to close a higher high on the monthly time frame. What is of immediate interest, however, is the weekly time frame. I posted about this yesterday, I think, and I said this level right here is a fairly decent level to take profit, and that's because when we look at the daily time frame / weekly time frame, and we go back in time, this was the bull trap that led into the multi-year bear market. The bull trap being, it's like, for those who don't know, a bull trap in a parabolic sense means that like the market was going parabolic, right? It breaks the trend. There is an attempt to return to the trend. It traps a lot of people, and then it never returns to that value again. Well, now we finally returned to that value, and we've popped the high. And I suspect there's a ton of people that are underwater right now. So taking profit right here, or taking Bitcoin and rotating it into altcoins, probably not a bad idea. It just, I personally think that ultimately we're going to see a throwback to lower levels at some point before we continue higher. And I think that we're still very, very bullish. Don't get me wrong. But for a pullback, I think we will ultimately be revisiting this level, this 13.8, before we see a continuation of the uptrend. Bitcoin has done that tons of times in the past. And yeah, I'll give you an example of when it happened last time. So it did a similar thing like right here, when it was teasing the all-time high, came up, although this looks like a small retrace, this was actually a very huge percentage value. People forget just how steep shit can decline even in a very strong uptrend. But this was a 34% decline, and then another one, back to back. And in the moment, you're thinking, oh shit, we're going to zero. But Bitcoin does that, and it's good to be prepared. 30% declines in parabolic Bitcoin uptrends that's the name of the game. If it doesn't make you feel it in your plums on the way down, I don't know what will. But regardless, from the high, this is about 20%. I could see it going down further, but this is a safe level to place some like Hail Mary buys. Like anything in here is this is buy zone right here. Okay, but all things considered, Bitcoin's incredibly bullish. No question about it. On a macro and micro time frame, the trend is up. When we see it on the daily time frame, it's just very, very clean. This is exactly what we want to see in a bullish trend. This just have a plan. If Bitcoin does have a strong pullback, make sure you're there to buy the dips. Don't over leverage yourself on the way up so that you can capitalize on the pullbacks as well, and not just be hating yourself because you're sitting there in an underwater long for no reason. You know what I mean? So some questions here. Why don't you use dark mode in TradingView? I don't know. Why don't you use light mode, bro? How about that? Do you see people sell off at 20K to break even and in hopes to get back in when it retraces? I'm not sure what you're asking. Can you be more specific? Another question. Are you considering the 200 EMA on the daily as potential target for pullback anytime soon? Yeah. So good question. The 200 EMA historically is a really great, there are buy the dip levels, and then there's buy this dip now level, and the 200 EMA is historically a really great holy shit moment to buy, in and around that zone. It doesn't always make it down in here because it gets front run a little bit, but that's within a couple percent. That general zone is where you should be looking for, oh my god, I missed the bull run, but thank God for this pullback. 200 EMA is always a really great. And that goes for all markets, really. But it's a great. I always consider the 200 EMA to be like the water line. If we're trending above it, we're swimming, and if we're trending below it, you're starting to drown, and you can see it quite clearly on the daily, right? If we're trending above it, cool. If we're trending above the 50, even better. But the moment we start to show weakness and we start finding the 200 EMA as resistance, then we're in trouble. We actually haven't even retested it yet, so yeah. But I could easily see a pullback to 11.2, and I would still be just as bullish. In fact, when we look at this 11.2, where's 11.2 figure, it makes a lot of sense from the weekly perspective. The 11.2 is about here. So the very strong horizontal level outlined here. Man, these speckles are annoying the shit out of me. I didn't even see these a minute ago. What is going on here? Get out of here. Sorry about that. But yeah, this 11.2 would line up really well with a retest of this macro level here. That whole thing. And it would also most likely line up by the time I went down there with the weekly 50 EMA, which is a nice water line as well. Light mode is too bright. Well, maybe you should have stronger corneas, bro. Survival of the fittest. If you can't look at a monitor, how the hell are you going to survive in the apocalypse? Dollar's collapsing. Get prepared. Look at some bright shit. All right, question from Twitch. This is a really important question. Would you rather have teeth for pubes or pubes for teeth? Probably pubes for teeth, because I do a lot of jiu-jitsu, and having teeth in my crotch sounds like shit. Okay. Anyone have any questions? I feel like most people are here for the altcoins, if I'm being honest. But if you have any questions about Bitcoin, let me know. Or forever hold your peace, because we're about to move on to the altcoins. Altcorn. What is all this? God, it's irritating. No? No one? Why don't you just try dark mode? Why don't you just try light mode, man? We can go back and forth with this all day. All right? Everyone thinks they're so edgy using their dark mode, but I got news for you. You're not. Okay? Wait, what? My bot just... Oh, spamming caps. My bot just censored someone. I'm gonna... I don't know how to undo that. Okay. I use light mode also. Dark is for kids. Yeah. Grow up, man. Grow up. Okay. All right. So before we get into alts, this is perfect time. You know, whether you want to support the stream monetarily or not, that's cool. But liking and subscribing to the channels, either on YouTube or Twitch, helps a lot. And you know, anything to spread the word helps. The more viewers, the better, for the most part, anyway. I do a pretty good job of appealing to the more mature audience and less like moon kids, but yeah, you know, drop a like, drop a subscribe, you know, tell your mom about it, make her proud, show your friends. Anything and everything helps. And if you've ever been interested in joining my trading group, now is a great time. I have a coupon code. It is bull50. Go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and try that out. You get 50% off your first sub. And yeah. Trading group's been around for 3 years now, and we're going strong. You know what's funny is most of the people that are in there right now have been there for the last 3 years. So it's a really good signal to noise ratio and quality content. So give that a try if you're interested. All right. Altcoins. Let's do it. So let's start with Ether. Ether is of particular interest to me because of this massive accumulation trading range here. It lasted for the last 2 to 2.5 years. This whole thing, this whole row right here, this is a massive accumulation trading range. You can also just call it a W bottom if you want. You know, dealer's choice. The effect is the same. A very long period of accumulation has been taking place on Ether, and it looks ready to mark up bigly. When I say bigly, I don't mean like, oh, it's going to go up to 500. I'm talking like, I think sustained 4-digit trend. Immediately, I'm looking for an upside target for Ether of this swing low here. So I move from current price, ultimately moving to here, which is what is this? 820 or so. You know, somewhere in here where it's, you know, let me make a little box. Something like this. I don't think this, it sounds ridiculous now, but once this thing gets going, this isn't going to seem so ridiculous because there is zero resistance between current price level and the next one. This is like wide open spaces, just like this chick in chat lives in Missouri. This is Missouri. A whole lot of nothing. And this is, I don't know, what? The Ozarks? What's in Missouri? I don't know. But here, this is Missouri, and we're going to travel right through it. Flyover state. And the target I'm looking for Ether, before I'm even considering selling any spot, is you know, low to mid 800s. Especially when we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Ethereum Bitcoin, what has a longer history? Poloniex? 20x. Yes. When we're looking at this chart, it at first glance kind of looks like shit, admittedly. But here's the hopium for you. This is a massive head and shoulders bottom. Here, with a massive target. This is huge, humongous target. This is the Ether Bitcoin chart. This has a target of about 80%, which lines up perfectly with this resistance level right here. And again, if we can, granted, some conditions need to be met, like this thing needs to be trending upward, it needs to break this resistance, all that, yada, yada, yada. I got it. But the conditions are set. We have a very strong reason to think that if the market does push up and it breaks this level, there's a whole lot of Missouri here, and it's going to continue all the way up to this 0.071 value. So 80% from the neckline. And what is it from current value? 158%. And this is versus the Bitcoin. This is versus the Bitcoin. Versus the Bitcoins. This is versus Bitcoin. So it will outperform it by about 80% before it has a really strong downside. I get it. It hasn't reversed. It's blah, blah, blah. I got it. But if it does reverse, that's the thing you need to be having a plan for, is that a reversal has a very strong upside potential from here, especially given the fact that it's testing a 3-year high, 2-year high, 2.5-year high here. And if this pops, this thing's going to fucking fly. It's going to double in price. So a little less than double in price. So that's Ether for you. Any questions about Ether before I move forth? So a question from Twitch, with the quote unquote altcoin rotation, do you mean Bitcoin or the USD pairs? So when someone says a capital rotation, what they typically mean is there is a general capital flow in crypto. It goes something like this. It goes USD, typically it goes like this: USD to Bitcoin to BTC to alts, and then from here alts will go to I'm gonna give you a little flow chart here. Alts will go this way or this way, and alts will go to either USD directly, which is the less liquid option, or they will go to Bitcoin. Damn it. We'll go to BTC, which then goes back into USD. So there's this like cycle where then this will start back over again. Right? So that's why I frame my entire argument over, is the dollar weakening? If so, are people moving from the dollar into other assets? If so, are they moving into crypto? And if they are moving into crypto, are they moving into Bitcoin or alts? That way we can know what phase of the capital rotation we're in. And right now, we're in this phase right here. Or I believe we're beginning this phase right here. So typically when someone says there is altcoin rotation, what that means in general is that the capital that that was gained or taken profit in Bitcoin, well, that profit gets recycled into the Bitcoin, into the crypto economy, and typically gets thrown into alts or just straight into USD and pocketed. That's the general flow of things. Another question from Twitch. Do you think Ether can advance upwards dollar-wise while Bitcoin takes a break? Absolutely. So typically alts do best when Bitcoin is consolidating, and not when Bitcoin is trending upward. When Bitcoin's trending upward, alts usually will underperform Bitcoin in terms of percentage gain. They'll go up in USD value, but most of the time they'll go up in USD value, but they will generally underperform, right? Where Bitcoin, or where the altcoins really thrive, like for example, this giant leg up. Let's look at the timestamp here. So, thought experiment, or I guess real world, not a thought experiment because it happened. So look, 20th of July, 2020. Okay, look at this giant leg up. This was the same thing that happened here. It's the same date. This is the total market cap for altcoins. If we take this timestamp and we go to 20th of July, you will see that Bitcoin wasn't doing a goddamn thing. This was Bitcoin, right? And then Bitcoin started marking up, and what did altcoins do? They started going sideways or pulling back. Then when Bitcoin had this giant pullback here, that's when altcoins had a giant pullback as well. And you can see quite clearly that as Bitcoin decided to have this giant leg up, Ether underperformed, because that's what this means. If Ether Bitcoin goes down, that means it's underperforming Bitcoin. So there you have it. So another question from YouTube. Since you were so bullish on Ether, if you had to put in fresh capital with a 1-year lockup, would you rather go long on Bitcoin or Ether? With a 1-year lockup? I'd have had to pick between the two. I couldn't pick like a weighting between the two. It's kind of a false dilemma there. I would pick Bitcoin just because it's safer. That is the less of the two risky investment options. That is the less risky of the two. I'm just at the point right now where I favor security and capital preservation over these like home run plays. What time frame would this happen in? Can you? What do you mean? What do you mean by this? Another question from Twitch. Definitely market buying if it can break 500. He's referring to Ether, or she. If it breaks 500, definitely okay. Do you see any path for Ether to go under 300? Meaning here? Yeah, so this is actually like a really cut and dry answer for me. If Ether goes back under 300, I would not feel comfortable holding Ether at all. Because if it goes back under 300, that means it invalidates this entire accumulation theory. And if it goes back into the range, it's most likely going to keep going down. So this is a very clear line in the sand here. Like if we start getting candle closes down in here, meaning like the weekly candles, I'm not talking like a shakeout and a wick that rallies. I'm talking like closes, like a bro like that guy. If we get something like that where it's closing down here, that's the eject button. Like get the fuck out of Dodge. You don't want to be dealing with that. Another question from Twitch. Man, we're getting a ton of viewers. Okay. Just tuning in. Why are you confident that money will go from Bitcoin to altcoins? If there's a pullback in Bitcoin, doesn't that usually pull everything down with it? Yes. Yeah. So it depends on what you mean by a pullback, though. If you're talking about just like a minor retracement on Bitcoin, altcoins generally don't care a whole lot about that. Like if you're talking about something like this, then yeah, altcoins generally don't care. But if you're talking about something like this, yeah, altcoins are going to panic. But what's important to note is that, so Bitcoin can go down. So Bitcoin can go down. And altcoins can go down too. But if they only go down a little bit, that means the alt-Bitcoin ratio goes up. And any bounce that is seen So something like this, where it bottoms and bounces, the alts will outperform them on the bounce. That's just the general elevator pitch right there. But yes, you're right. Any large pullback on Bitcoin will pull back alts as well. That's right. Not sure at this point. Can we still consider Ether to be an altcoin at all? Yeah. Altcoin literally just means like any coin that isn't Bitcoin. That's all that means. Okay. My mouth is drying out. Let me get a sip here. Okay. Can I move on to Link? Or are you guys still glued on Ether here? Because I'm more excited about Link, if I'm being honest. Don't get me wrong, super bullish on Ether. Love Ether. I'm just more excited about Link because it gives me the early 2017 Ether vibes that make my insides all happy. Okay, moving on. You blew it. You had time. It's gone. Link. Okay, so we'll start with the Link Bitcoin chart because I've been beating you guys over the head on Twitter about this. But Link is by far... Well, let me preface with this. I don't care about the tech. Okay. I don't care if you think the code is trash. I don't care if you think that Ether is way better than Link or if you think Ether can do things better than Link. I care about the chart and I care about money. Okay. Don't care about all that other shit. So save it. What I will say is that Link is the best trending coin in all of crypto. I will die on this hill that nothing trends better, cleaner, and easier than Link. It plays this 200 EMA so cleanly and rallies so cleanly off the 200 EMA. And this is the Link Bitcoin chart, by the way. Link strength often front runs macro crypto strength, and all altcoin seasons, quote unquote altcoin seasons, have been front run by Link strength. And right now, I mean, unless this 2-year trend of 200 EMA rally, like that whole thing, unless this breaks and this just goes into shit town, I like my odds here. I like rotating Bitcoin into Ether, into Link, because of the argument I just gave you, but also because of the Link USD chart, which I'm about to show you here. But these bounces shouldn't be underestimated here. These are very, very large bounces every time it interacts with a 200 EMA. I mean, look at this, guys. These are huge. And when it's really trending, it bounces off the 50. But what is notable about this is the way in which the 50 EMA coils with the 200 EMA, and then it expands again. So we can see here the 50 EMA is coiling with the 200 EMA. And once again, boom. So unless there's just like some massive technical change with the way that Link trends, I like my odds here. It just needs to see some capital rotation there. And when we see the Link USD chart, it's clean too. We see a very clean cloud breakout. We see a very strong upward trend. We see higher highs and higher lows, which is a mark of an uptrend, believe it or not. Who would have thought? Boom. And it's been slamming into this resistance, you know, this whole zone here. So many times, and there's only so many times resistance can get rejected before it capitulates and pops. And I imagine there's a lot of people shorting Link, and the breakout will be intense. What cloud settings do I use? I use just standard cloud settings, the default settings. So, question from YouTube: betting more on Link move than ETH move in terms of relative position, i.e., 100 units. What is a unit? What is a Link unit? What the hell is that? Speak English to me. What are you trying to say, Morgan? Use your words. Oh, my chat disappeared. There we go. Oh, trying to understand percent confidence in either. I don't even know how to. I don't know how to answer that question because I don't know how to rate a percentage. I'm very confident. Right now, I mean, come on. You know me long enough to know I'm not going to answer this question straight away. Or, you know, as direct as you're looking for. Like, how am I going to answer that? 70%, 30%? So what are you asking? So you're asking if Link is going to outperform Ether? Is that the question? Or are you asking what is my confidence that Link and Ether are going to perform well? Or like what specifically? Meaning if Link chart is 5x cleaner, would you bet 5 times as much as the Ether position? More of a general vibe. Oh, there's no question. So, okay, so I see what you're saying. So there's no question. The Link chart is, it's more bullish by definition than Ether. It's more bullish because it's in price discovery mode, right? It keeps making new all-time high ranges, new all-time high ranges, new all-time high ranges, and Ether, unlike Link, has a lot of overhead baggage of people that have been bag holding all that shit, you know, for years. Link doesn't have any of that. There are no bag holders with Link that are deeply underwater. I mean, unless you just bought here, but even that, like, that's not even that big of a deal. There is less inherent resistance because there are less people to sell the supply of Link. Also, the trend is just leaps and bounds better. Like, the Link Bitcoin chart hasn't been bearish ever. Like, wrap your head around that. The trend has not been bearish ever. But Link is number 5. I'm guessing you mean number 5 in the market cap. You expect that big potential upside? Yeah, dude. So I was saying this when Link broke out here, that double digits are only a matter of time, and then several days later it broke out. I legitimately think that Link could go to $72. Call me crazy, but I think Link could go to $72. And it's the same thing people said to me when Ether was like $27, and I was saying it's going to go to 100, and then 300. People thought I was just being, you know, stupid. But I see no reason why Link can't go that high. These fib extensions are what Link usually targets on breakouts. So, anyway, any more questions about Link before we move on? I really only have plans to talk about XRP after this, and then I'll just take some requests. 72, how soon? Tomorrow, dude. I think it's going to 72 tomorrow, actually. What price and link would invalidate it for you? Would invalidate what? Got to go, but thank you for the insight. You're very welcome. Fun fact. I'm right in the middle of flipping a big bag of IOTA. 3 years old? Damn, dude. To link these days. That is a fun fact. You've been holding IOTA for 3 years. My God. Poor baby. I'm so fucking sorry. What price of link would invalidate your breakout theory? I don't have a specific price. I have metrics that would invalidate it. And the metric is a breakdown in the link Bitcoin trend, or most immediately, a breakdown of this 200 EMA for the USD chart. The 200 EMA is the water line. So that's the problem, is that throughout the bear market, everyone all of a sudden became a level trader, where they're trading discrete levels, and they all forgot how to trade trend. And I think they're going to miss a lot of really good opportunities because people have forgotten the art of trend trading. You still watching Neo? I am. Yeah, I'll talk about Neo. Okay, so let's talk about XRP, and then we'll take some requests. So XRP, I still stand by my theory that we are about right here. And we're going to see a disgusting face melting candle for some stupid reason that everyone's going to get angry about. But it is what it is. When we look at the lower time frame, like XRP USD, we see a very clean head and shoulders bottom here with a very clean target of 77% to the upside once it breaks this neckline. And if we just look at like the general cloud metrics, this is a weekly chart, by the way. You know, it's flirting with a breakdown, but it's not a breakdown. It's flirting with resistance, but it's trending really well. It found beautiful support on the 50 EMA for the first time in several years. And when we look at the daily chart, it's as clean as can be cloud breakout. So I do think it's good for another like 70 to 80% to the upside, which would put it around 50 cents, I believe the target is. Yeah, about 58 cents, something like that. And given XRP's history of just like melting faces in a very short period of time, I don't think it's going to be this thing where you're going to be able to like get in along the way. It's going to be like this and then bleed and bleed. It's just what XRP does. But yeah. Yes, I'm gonna do VeChain, my guy. I've explained this several times. I like to keep things orderly. Can't just be letting heathens like you dictate things. But for all you XRP traders out there, have a little faith because I think it's going to break out to the upside pretty bigly. Okay. All right, so let's go look at VeChain for the love of God. Before this guy's a fit. Oh my God. Oh my God, this looks like shit. How dare you? Were you the one who asked about this the last time? Because I remember this because it looks specifically like shit. Not to like hurt your feelings or anything, but if there is ever a horrible downtrend, this is it. It just keeps trending downward, retracing to the 50, and it just keeps playing just the tip with the tank in there. You know, maybe it gets a bounce to the Kijun, but I don't see any particular reason to just throw money at this because there's no reason to just assume you're at the bottom of the trend. So sorry to burst your bubble, but this is not something I would personally give a whole lot of effort toward. So from YouTube, interesting comment. I'm holding XRP now since 2017. I'm so done with it, but I want that cash. I think there's a lot of people like you out there. I don't think you're alone. Okay, so that's VeChain for you. Oh yeah, let's look at LTC because it's been having a nice little time with itself. So LTC still in a downtrend. Still kind of looks like shit if I'm being honest. You know, it did have its pop. Didn't quite even make it to the 200 EMA, and these are Bitcoin pairs, mind you. Didn't quite even make it to the 200 EMA until this downtrend gets broken. I'm not terribly interested in. I'm holding a little bit of Litecoin. That's just because someone paid me in Litecoin, so I was like, we'll see what happens. But yeah, until this downtrend gets broken, where it breaks through the 200 EMA, not of something of interest. I mean, granted, you know, it did do this. It does have a history of doing this where it just like blows right through the 200 EMA, but you know, again, not something I'm terribly interested in as a long-term position. What are all these chart lines? What are you referring to? This stuff? Oh, all the other stuff that is now gone? Yeah, so this is a system called the Ichimoku cloud system. It's basically just a way to visualize trend objectively without having to be like, well, I think this is bullish. I think this is bearish. Like you can look at it and it has very clear metrics for defining bullish and bearish trends. I'm not going to go into like the detailed explanation because that'll take an hour and a half to 2 hours to do. All right. TRB USDT is putting in a clean accumulation range breakout. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this. It is like running right into resistance though. So until it closes above this level, this would be something I would just keep an eye on personally. because this level is the one to beat. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it looks bullish. Has a relatively well-defined range, but yeah, that's the level to beat. Could you share your thoughts on SXP BTC? What the hell is that? Whoa. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but I think it's gonna. Yeah, this is a bearish trend. I mean, yeah, this also looks like shit as well. I mean, it's like very clearly finding resistance on the Tenkin. Isn't even mustering up enough energy to go to the Kijun or the 50 EMA. This isn't something I would particularly be interested in personally. I have very specific criteria for which guide me in my decisions, and this isn't one of them. Whoa. Someone just donated a shitload of tier 1 subs in my Twitch. Thanks. That was really generous. That was like 20? What is that? 20 tier 1 subs? 30 total? My God, we've got Jeff Bezos in here. That's awesome. Thank you. There was a question in there. Oh, yeah. Can you look at TRX and XLM? Yeah, TRX, BTC. See, this is the type of crypto. This is the type of crypto that a crypto community that like got me interested in the first place. Where, you know, everyone's happy. No one's like really like that pissed off. What starts pissing people off is when they start trying to short the market and they end up eating plates of shit, and then they think everyone's an idiot and they start like shit posting on people's Twitter feeds, and you know, I don't like that kind of. That's why I wasn't streaming much during the bear market, because it was just such a toxic community. But yeah. Oh, I need to also show this as well. For people who are interested in donating with crypto, I have a link in my Twitch profile. Someone was asking me about that the other day. There's a link in my Twitch profile. You can click it, and yeah, there you go. So TRX BTC. Let's look at who has a longer history. Probably Polonius, if I had to guess. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's Jason Bourne. TRX BTC looks like a big old plate of shit. Making all-time lows. Gotta love that. All-time lows with a well-defined downtrend. You're basically knife catching at this point, which is not something I'm interested in. This isn't the most history. Is it? Yeah, there we go. So flirting with all-time lows. But either way, doesn't look very good. Especially considering this, it was making a really nice range. And anytime something makes a range like this and it fails, that's not something I want to see personally. You know, maybe this will do like a shakeout. It'll make a larger trading range or something like that. But this just doesn't look. This doesn't look good to me. Can you have a look at NIM? Yeah, NIM BTC on Cutcoin or KuCoin, whatever the fuck it is. Oh my gosh, you guys! Everyone always wants to see the bummer of coins. Another well-defined downtrend. Why aren't you guys asking me about happy ones? It's like there's a sea of great coins, and you guys want to all ask me about the bummers. Yeah, again, not a good looking chart. Very well clean, defined downtrend. Yeah. Can you have a look at AGI Bitcoin? I care a lot about the project. Not much of a trader myself. Just curious how the chart looks to good traders like you. AGI BTC. Let's see. Oh, I remember looking at this. I think, are you the same dude that's been asking about these? So this isn't as bad. It's got a very clean retest of support, which I obviously looked at before because I have this red line on my chart. So this actually, I don't hate this. This is a good level that'd be worth taking a punt at. I wouldn't weight any significant percentage of my portfolio on it because I'm a trend trader. But you know, it's getting a very clean retest on this level. My fear would just be that it pulls a TRX and it does something like this, where you're like, oh, it's retesting the level, and then it just shits right through the level. So as long as you're, you know, watching it and willing to cut your losses once it starts, if it starts closing down here, then yeah. But I mean, this is these don't look like big moves, but these are big moves. Like if it made a new low, that's a 50% decline, and you don't want to be bag holding a 50% loser. Should I buy XLM or just shit like TRX? Man, if you think I'm recommending you buy TRX, you were not listening to me. Oh, wait. Ugh. Lumen looks like shit too, man. It had a lot of promise because it broke out of this resistance here. And just like TRX, it bled right through the level. You know, maybe at some point this ends up being like a larger trading range like that. And this creaks through the bottom, and then it, you know, a lot of conditions need to be met before I would consider buying any XLM personally. It just has so much potential unknown downside. I would wait for a level to be reclaimed before I even started considering buying XLM, but that's just me. Oh, geez. Chat is blowing up right now. Okay, let me look at... This is a good problem to have. Let me look through this YouTube chat. It's going crazy right now. When Bitcoin retraces 30%, will Litecoin Bitcoin or Link Bitcoin hold the current trend, or will it also be dropping 30 to 60%? If it doesn't, okay, I think that's more of just a statement. Jeez. Okay, this is a lot more requests than I was expecting. Let me see what the mark. Okay, so people want to see BNB. Okay, that seems to be a common one. So BNB usually tends to be a hedge against uncertainty. That's why it did so well during the bear market, and you can see people are starting to cash out. And BNB has a lot of space below it. So BNB basically did what TRX did. It broke this level, you know, it like basically broke this strong resistance, came back down for a retest, and then just bled right through it. And my worry with something like BNB would be well, where is the next, if this keeps going down, where is the next break? Like, where is the next level of support? And the answer is pretty far down, because I'm not a terribly big believer in buying hanging support. So the way I look at support is you can buy upward support or hanging support. Hanging support would be something like this. Upward support would be something like this. I like to buy upward support where something comes up here and retests. I don't generally like to buy hanging support. Hanging support, you're basically rolling the dice and hoping that it holds. And if it breaks, you don't have a very clear invalidation point. If you buy upward support, well, the invalidation is very clear. Any close below this, close down here, you cut your losses. If you're here and this keeps going, and you say you have a buy order down here and just keeps going, you're like, okay, cool, I bought. It's still going. It's still going. So when do I sell? That's just not a very good position to be in. But upward support is a very clear, well-defined invalidation point, and so I personally prefer to buy those. I don't like to buy hanging support because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times and look at snapping. So BNB isn't something I would be personally interested in. Maybe if it goes down to this level, this would be a point of interest, but yeah. Can you tap Gordon Ryan? No, Gordon Ryan hasn't been tapped since he was like a purple belt, I think. Gordon Ryan is he's the no-gi goat right now. What coin? So from Twitch, what coins are you personally interested in besides Link? Do you mean like interested in project-wise or personally holding? Because those are two different things. Look at Zcash. Zcash is bummer fuel, because all it does is go down. Oh, would you look at that? A big old downtrend that got spat out of the cloud like a chump. This is Zcash in a nutshell. Yeah, I'm not a terribly big fan of this setup. I mean, maybe there's like some sort of divergence we could argue here on a larger scale, but I see no reason to just carelessly throw money at this thing. All it does is trend down. That's literally all it does, is it just trends down. It's the opposite of Link. Link goes up and Zcash goes down. It is what it is. It is the nature of Zcash. So if anyone ever asks you, what does Zcash do? You say it goes down. So what coins are you personally interested in besides Link? Well, I've kind of already gone over this. Ether, Link, XRP. As on a personal level, I'm interested in Coin, which is an internet storage layer dealio. But yeah, that's my immediate short list. I'm not holding anything. That's literally all I'm holding. Bitcoin, Ether, Link, well, a little bit of Litecoin, Coin. That's it. I don't hold. I think the idea of having this like quote unquote diverse portfolio is kind of silly. I'd rather just have a handful of strong, a handful of strong boys in my corner. You know what I mean? You did Neo? No, I didn't do Neo yet. Let me see. So Neo is actually looking pretty good. I'm not personally holding any right now, but this is a good spot. What I would be worried about is this pulling a TRX and it bleeding through. But as long as it's above this support, this is a great spot to start, like dollar cost averaging in here. But if we start closing back inside the range, that most likely means it's going to get TRX'd and it's going to keep going down. But as long as it's trending up here, this is a great spot. Very clear, well-defined invalidation. And when we look at Neo BTC, leaves much to be desired here, but it is at the range low. I would be a little bit more concerned if it was below this level, like say, down here. I would be a little bit more concerned. But as long as it doesn't start closing below here, nothing terribly alarming. But if it does start closing down below there, that is a big old Missouri right there. You're not into DeFi? No, I'm not into DeFi. You crazy kids. ADA. Let's go ahead and look at ADA. I'll take 2 more, and then we'll all pretend like we have real lives. Who has a... Oh, Jesus Christ. Who has a longer history? Nope. I think probably Binance, right? No, there we go. So ADA looks very similar to what was the first coin we looked at? EGI or whatever. It's bleeding out and retesting the range support. So not a bad spot to be buying, but the trend looks like shit. Like there's no two ways about it. Without even having the cloud on there, I can tell you right now, it looks like shit. I mean, look at this. This is a shit trend for a shit coin that looks like shit. Very long shit list. So if we can make a list of shit, ADA would be on that one. Okay. Let's get one more in here, and then we'll go about our merry way. Dot. There's always one. Everyone always wants to look at this piece of shit. Sorry, I'm not taking my rage out on you, but there's always one person every stream that wants to look at Dot. So Dot, why don't you... I'll let you answer this one, okay? If we have a list of hot and then shit, let's take a stab. Where do you think this one falls? Trick question. It's both. It's hot shit. This trend looks like crap, dude. It just keeps going down, and there's no support. I mean, I think you guys first started asking me about it when it was up here, and I explained to you, this is the reason why I don't trade these coins, is because these like new coins with no price histories, because they could just bleed down indefinitely. There's no support. There's no reason to stop. There's no speculative. There's no speculative edge. There's no reason to be trading it. I mean, things without price history, you're playing a scratch off. You're just hoping that you're right. That's really what it boils down to. You have no relative valuation of the coin. Looks like a slide. Yeah, a water slide into a pool of shit. Okay, guys, I've been streaming for over an hour now, hour and a half. I'll go ahead and plug my trading group one more time. If you're interested in signing up, now's the time. That coupon code's valid for like the next 2 weeks, I think. And it's Bull50. Go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, sign up there. You can ask me about all the shittiest of your shit coins there, and I'll happily crush your dreams in person. Just kidding, kind of. Otherwise, I'll be posting fairly infrequently on Twitter and doing streams maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks. But keep an eye out on the capital rotation. That's going to be the play, is watching where capital moves from Bitcoin. I believe it's going to be rotating to altcoins. Just don't get too hung up on these shitty charts like DOT. They're going to make you hate. There's no reason why you should lose money in a parabolic uptrend. Just don't be greedy. Play the easy stuff. Have a well-defined trend and lean into it. Don't try to just hit these home runs, you know? And that's why I think, at minimum, I think trading groups, even if you don't join my trading group, you can join this chick from Missouri's trading group. I think it's just good to have people, you know, keep you accountable. Even if it's not me, you know, have a trading buddy. Make some friends. You know, don't sit at the lunch table alone. That sucks. You know what I mean? All right, what else? I guess that's all I got for you guys. Thanks again to Jose came to play. I guess that's how it is. Jose. Oh yeah, Jose. I get it. For the gifted subs. Really nice. Yeah. I'll hit you guys up probably next week sometime. And if I'm wrong, I'll delete the stream. I'll delete the stream. I'll pretend like it never happened. But yeah, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, sign up. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later, and yeah, have a great rest of your week.